You know, some people enjoy composing their own music, chord by chord, and others are happiest when they come across that one perfect song. Work is not a lot different than that. Whether you prefer building your own workflow or using a pre-made template, with Monday.com, you and the team can work in a way that's comfortable for everyone. Tap the banner to go to Monday.com and build your own amazing workflow, or find an awesome template. No judgment.
Welcome to the RuPaul's Drag Race Recap Show for Season 12, Episode 12, titled Viva Drag Vegas. My name is Joe Betance, and I am joined, as always, by one nefarious nanny. That was a placeholder, and I didn't actually. It makes no. I forgot to. I'll fix it in the morning, and I didn't. From the podcast pod is my co-pilot. Please say,
"Give me a strong, wet kiss."
To Taylor, the Latte Boy. Hello, Taylor, the Latte Boy.
Hello, Joseph.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
For those of you listening at home and on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever, for people on Patreon, we have a segment called Just Between Us Girls, where it's just Taylor and I shoot the shit. We do it before the show. And this one was very dark. It involved death and how I'm going to die alone. And so it's funny to go from that and go, how are you doing, Taylor the Latte Boy? How are you?
Guys.
Oh, yeah. What about this Jackie Cox? Oh my god, that's so funny. But once again, though, if you want to hear that Just Between Us Girls segment, if you want to hear about my own self-hate and how I loathe myself and all the horrible things Taylor's going through, go to patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia and join at the premium level to enjoy all that content and more. God, I gotta tell you, there is so much content right now. We are a content producing machine. I think if you're at maybe not premium, but definitely this Joe Betance, you literally have at least one brand new show in your feed a day. A day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
a lot of content.
I know. How do you get? Because Taylor, you're like a month behind, and is it one of the
month behind on everything?
It must be like a Sisyphean effort for you to try.
It is because, and also for some reason I have it screwed up where I get like 3 of every episode because of the various feeds that I've been attached to. So I'll refresh my I have used Pocket Casts.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my god, there's 6 new shows that are all in it. And then I get mad at other podcasts for releasing because I'm like, I have all this afterthought stuff I got to listen to too on top of everything else. So
it's crazy.
It is crazy.
There are shows. There's a show I have to release on Sunday because we got it done late, and it usually comes out on Thursday. And I have to release on Sunday because there's so many shows. I don't want to burden people too much, and Sunday seems to be a kind of lighter day. If that makes any sense. And so I'm like, oh god. So lots and lots. If you're in the need for content, you know where to go. But right now we're talking about RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12, Episode 12. And let's jump right into it. This week, the queens get into Showgirl Quick Drag for the mini challenge. Final mini challenge, by the way. The Maxi Challenge is another musical number inspired by the Las Vegas stage show RuPaul's Drag Race Live. On the runway category is Eleganza Extravaganza. Gigi Good secures her 4th Maxi Challenge win, leaving Crystal Method and Jackie Cox in the bottom 2. After a lip sync battle for their lives, Crystal Method outperformed Jackie, and she's told Shantae, you stay, while Jackie Cox is asked, or was asked, to sashay away. Taylor the Latte Boy, name 2 things you liked about the episode and 1 thing you did not.
This was a comfort food episode. There wasn't really a lot. It was lots of bright lights and colors and outfits, and there wasn't a lot of substance to the episode. But that's okay, given stuff going on in my life right now. That's okay.
Yeah.
I liked the mini challenge. I know that we've done this before where they have to come up with like kind of mini characters and stuff, but I liked that they all had to write out, you know, a little bio for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought everybody, for the most part, actually did stuff that was kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the lip sync. I thought that the lip sync between the two of them, I don't do spoilers, and it was clear just from the narrative of the episode that it was going to come down to the two of them.
Yeah.
Where they definitely beat it into us that it was a numbers game. It wasn't necessarily about who did best, who didn't. But I didn't know who was going to win.
Mm-hmm.
I had an idea, but I wasn't sure. But I love that song. That's a great song. So I enjoyed that. Thing I didn't like. I don't know that there wasn't anything I didn't like about the episode. I think it was just a fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun episode. I can see where people would thought that the Rusical was kind of cheesy.
Yeah. But
it's also supposed to be a Vegas show, and Vegas shows are supposed to be cheesy like that. So in that regards, it was fun to watch. What about you?
Let me tell you this. I've said it before, probably this season, and I'll say it again. And I want to thank listener SDC for giving me the flip on this script. That is probably the best way to put this. But I love this Jamal Sims. What a positive presence on this show. This is the way a choreographer on this show needs to be. He's helpful. He's great television. Fantastic, right?
Yeah.
SDC pointed out in the first response yesterday. She goes, I wonder I can't wait to hear what Joe thinks about the fact that it was the first Todrick-free season in a while. I'm like, I never thought about that.
Yep. I noticed that too. I'm like, Todrick was not on at all. Not even as like a judge.
Oh, thank God. What a horrible human being this Todrick Hall is. Don't like him.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny is we're not
talking
friends.
about Todrick though. We're talking about Jamal.
Oh, anyway, I love Jamal. You're right. I almost went on one of my rants.
Yeah,
you know? There's
no need. We are all very aware.
I'd rather talk about Sherry Pie than this Todrick Hall. So that was one thing I liked. Okay, this is a weird one that I know. It just hit me yesterday. Right? It was during the Elimination Day, because it's only really during the Elimination Day segments that we get to see Gigi in profile. You know, because usually a front shot. And so you'll see her in profile. She's doing her makeup. And I was like, wow, she has like I wouldn't say perfect. I mean, that's a good thing. I'm saying like her nose is just so like the cutest, like perfect. Like if you were going to design a twink in a cartoon, it would be that nose, right?
Like a Betty Boop cartoon from the 30s.
It's just like a perfect little ski jump button nose. And I was like, and I go, and he's a tall man. And I go, oh, it's a nose job. 100%. 100%.
Really?
There's no adult male who has that nose. I don't care what you look like. Now, a child could have that nose, right? Or maybe a cute girl, a woman. But there's no adult male that has. Have you seen this nose?
He's only like 21. How old is
Taylor? No, there's no adult male that has this nose. It's like perfectly sculpted. Like you have to. In fact, I would say there's no adult that has that nose. It's like when you see Tinkerbell, drawn. I mean, okay. I'll try and find a screenshot of this. Or maybe someone else. Is Humble Pie in the chat room?
I don't know.
For those of you listening who
focusing on the chat room, I'm focusing on you.
On the Patreon, and people, if you're not on Patreon, Humble Pie is like sort of like in the chat room, always like the wizard who gets this information. Because even though I have a producer who you think would do that, it's Humble Pie who lands up doing that. But yeah, if you get a profile of Jackie Cox, you're like, that's not a human being's nose. That was crafted by a plastic surgeon. So that was anyway. Kudos to the plastic surgeons. One thing I liked.
That's one of the two things you liked.
It's great plastic. It's a great plastic surgery. I didn't clock it right away. Until I'm why is it? Oh, plastic surgery. Okay. The one thing...
Let's just say an allegedly for that, just for shits and giggles.
Allegedly, based on my amateur, speculation that Gigi Good has had a nose job.
We have a link in the Crowdcast chat to a Google image. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Mm-hmm. It is very much a very defined
cartoonish
feature. A little.
Yeah. Like that's the nose Gem from Gem and the Holograms would have. It's truly outrageous, Taylor.
We are the misfits.
Yeah, definitely we are the misfits.
We are the misfits.
You know what's funny is I've always thought that Misfits songs were so much better. But we're talking about the cartoon from the 80s, Gem and the Holograms. But I always thought like the Misfits music was so much better.
Well, because when you look back, they really kind of did look like drag queens.
They did, yeah.
They did. What was the thing you did not like about this episode?
Okay, and we can talk about this at length, right? But it's a revelation that I sort of come to, and it was very obvious in this episode. So on Just Between Us Girls, we talked about this, and we're going to go into depth on this next week for all of you on the reunion. But I went back and listened to our episode 0, Meet the Queens episode, right? Where you and I, every season, we make our guesses to who the top 4 are going to be, right? Mm-hmm. And we were so wrong this season. So wrong. I mean, It's embarrassing how wrong we were. But you know what else is embarrassing is how right we were. And that both of you, both of us, even from the Meet the Queens, we knew Gigi Good was top 4.
Yeah.
Right? It was just so patently obvious. And now that the whole season, at least the traditional season is done. This is the last episode up, because now it's just the reunion and the finale. But the traditional season is done. We can see the amount of producer manipulation in the edit where they really want us to love Gigi Good. And they also want us to love that fucking broccoli. And it's not funny. Okay. You can't capture lightning in a bottle a second time. Right.
Was the broccoli?
The broccoli was in this episode. Yes. At the very end, when RuPaul says, my top 4 queens are going to LA, and it shows all of them, and they cut to the broccoli just staying to the side of the stage.
Oh, I did kind of see that.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
it was a real quick shot, right?
Yeah. So, I know you want to make the broccoli a thing, but it's the same thing here where they want to make Gigi Good a thing. And they're trying to guess who the audience will love. And I think because of this bizarre season with the coronavirus canceling everything and Sherry Pie canceling the rest, that a lot of it probably happened in previous seasons, but we weren't as hip to the manipulation. But it was patently obvious here. And what I was saying is that they make bets in the same way that we do. Who is the audience going to fall in love with? And I don't know if you knew this, Taylor. I don't know if the audience knew this. People were talking in the first response because I don't think they knew this. But they filmed, for this episode, they filmed both eliminations. So they filmed a version of Crystal going home, and they filmed a version of Jackie Cox going home. Okay? And so I think because they were, well, mostly because they didn't want to know who's going to be in the top 4. But also... Yeah. They probably also wanted to wait and see, like, who was going to be more popular here, Crystal or Jackie? That's how we know who to put in the top 4. And so what I didn't like was how obvious Gigi has 4 wins. Gigi should not have won this mini challenge. You know what's so funny is last night I got called away, so I didn't see the judges' critiques. You know, but I also know in this episode, everybody's wonderful. There's no negatives, right? Was there any negatives?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. They were splitting hairs on outfits and stuff, but otherwise, no, everybody was just so amazing.
Everyone's amazing, and it's always this way in this episode. And so everyone's amazing. Oh, and so I didn't watch it this morning either. I rewatched it. I skipped past it this morning too, but I don't remember what my point was. Anyway, what are your thoughts on what I just said about the manipulation and the... Well,
I'm wondering if the reason that they went in so hard on Gigi with this is because I would love years from now, and I get that it would never be released, I would love to see the original edit of this season.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have a feeling that Sherry clearly, I mean, she made it all the way to the end,
mm-hmm.
was a very large presence for this season.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if initially we were getting a lot of Sherry Pie love, and then they had to, okay, well, we have these two front runners, we have these two horses, now we have to remove one of the horses, so we're going to just throw everything at Gigi.
Mm-hmm.
All of the edits, all of the good edits, that kind of stuff.
But do you think Gigi should have won this challenge? You think? Well, we'll get to it when we get to it. But like, she won
the mini challenge.
No,
or
the whole thing,
challenge?
the main challenge.
No, I don't think she should have,
because she won the main challenge, right? Yeah, I just said it.
Yes, she won the mini challenge. But I think that I don't think she should have won the Madonna Rusical either.
That's what I'm saying.
That was a shocking thing, and I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think that this is such a cursed season, as you have said, with stuff, and it is just such a where they definitely are, you know, whereas I think at the beginning the queens were kind of aware of the pulling of the strings, and now you're seeing queens being a little bit more savvy. I feel like we as the audience are starting to get a little more savvy as the pulling of the strings as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know what I'm saying at this point, but I agree with you.
You know what you're making me think about is one of the things that, you know, I've read a lot about, I love books about movie making, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know,
mm-hmm.
And one of the things when you read about movie making is the relationship among the crew and the cast behind the scenes is irrelevant to the quality of the film. There are films where everybody got along and it was just a crazy great place, but the movie was fucking terrible. And there are a lot of movies where it was a fucking nightmare to work on that set, but they made art, you know?
Right.
And I feel like, to be honest with you, you can have one of the strongest casts in history, and I don't disagree with that assessment. But God, the last few episodes have shown that makes for some boring ass television.
Well, because you know, I was going to save this for the end, but this kind of works into what you're saying now. They talked about in Untucked that RuPaul called this group iconic.
Uh-huh.
And there was part of me that when she said that, I was sort of like, that's not real. That's kind of not. I mean, that's a great group of girls. But when I think an iconic final five,
mm-hmm.
what comes to mind when you think iconic final five of Drag Race?
Season 5, I would say.
Okay, and I went to season 6.
That's another
season
one.
6.
You can go back and forth between them.
Right, where between the two of them. But I went to see, you know, and I feel like that is a group of girls. But part of that with season 5 and season 6, with those last episodes, was there was a lot more tension. You had the Roxy and Alaska stuff in 5, and you had the Darian and Ben stuff in season 6.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this group of girls, you know, and I've talked about this, that it is nice, especially with everything going on in the world and just the political climate and the climate and everything, just to watch a show where everybody gets along and everybody seems to genuinely respect and like one another. But that also, there are times where you're like, I kind of want to watch somebody fight, you know, just kind of as a way to move things along. This episode in particular, everybody got along. There was no real drama. There was nobody saying, you know, even when they were struggling with the songs or the choreography, everybody was nice to each other. There wasn't that tension of, oh my God, is Gigi going to be able to learn the dance, or is Jada going to be able to sing the song? It wasn't to the level that we've seen with other shows. So in that regard, people like Todrick work in that regards because they help to kind of stir up emotion, whereas this is just sort of we're watching nice pageantry kind of go down this is sort of like watching a parade. You're watching all the fanciful colors and the music and everything, but there's no, you know, nothing's on fire, nobody's, you know, it's not a riot, it's just kind of going down the path, and that's okay, but it doesn't make for, you know, outstanding television.
So I agree with you. One of the things I thought about, we'll come back to it, but I'm going to add to it what you just said. But I have a challenge for you that's different from, like you and I just recovered season 5, and that'll be released to the general public at some point. But give me 1 or 2 episodes that stand out to you.
Of this season?
Season 5.
Of season 5. Season 5 episodes that stand out to me are the Snatch Game. Snatch Game is a good one, but that's because of Jinx. The courtroom stuff and the finale.
Okay, it's funny.
That's one that stands out to me.
What's funny for me, it's Can I Get an Amen, which I love.
See, I hate that episode. But okay.
RuPaul Roast stands out to me. I'll throw another one. Scent of a Drag Queen stands out to me.
Okay.
God, the one where they make the children's show.
That's a great one.
That's a good one too, right? So okay, season 6. Give me 2 or 3.
Drag Me to Hell.
Great episode.
Another
almost a perfect episode. Almost a perfect episode of the show.
Yeah. Drag Race. Not Drag Race. That's the name of the show. Snatch Game.
Yeah.
Would be another one that definitely stands out to me. The one where the makeover episode.
Oh, the wedding
with the guy that throws up.
That is a good one too. What are you talking about? The comedy challenge where Laganja and the
hey. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, I mean, those are ones that I feel definitely.
And now look, this is
in memory.
This is 6 or 7 years later, but can you name any episode from this season that's memorable? One. Give me one. That you're going to remember in a year.
I feel like I'd remember Madonna the Rusical.
Okay.
But that's because I'm a Madonna fan. Or I was a Madonna fan. So,
see,
the only one that I can tell you from last season is Cher the Rusical.
Yeah, it's true. But to go on what you were saying, I think the difference is, and I'm actually not going to put it on cast, because this is the one thing I will say. This is a very, very, very strong cast. I will not deny that. The entire cast, from top to bottom, except Aiden Zane and Dahlia Sin, are very, very strong. Okay, yeah. Very strong. The problem is the stakes. The stakes are different. I've always said that the stakes switch after season 6. Magnolia Crawford was the proverbial canary in the coal mine when she said, "I'm just here for the publicity," and everyone clutched their pearls, but they were all thinking the same thing. But season 6 was the last time there were stakes where the only way out was to win. And now, I mean, they even have it in a song.
Right. I was thinking that too. I'm like, you're kind of admitting that it's really, once you get on the show, it's to the point of where it's up to you to earn your keep out in the real world, but you are being given a golden opportunity to be known as a Rue girl. Yeah.
And losing is the new winning is the song I'm talking about, by the way. And, it's one of these things where, like, notice Jack, there were, who was the one that were like, you heard them wailing outside because they knew they didn't get far enough to make those bookings. Jackie Cox was it Rock? Oh, Rockham. You're right. Rockham went home like second or something like that, right? I forgot Rockham existed. Yeah. And then, but also I know Britta was pretty upset too. But, Jackie Cox has like a misty eye, and it's because she knows, fuck, okay. I wish I could have gone through, but I'm going to get that. I waited all the way through I'm in all the episodes. Except she's in every. Jackie will be in every episode. She's going to be at the reunion. I don't know how they're working the finale, but probably the finale she'll make an appearance. She's in every episode. Her booking's going to go through the roof. It's a little disappointing, but it's not like Rockham was like, ooh, it's going to be just like I said, people are going to forget my name.
Well, I will say that as much, there are times that, because I just randomly think about Drag Race because of that's who I am and what we do here. Yeah. There are times that I have to sit and go, who won last season?
Yeah.
who won? And I have to really, really think about it. And the only thing that I really remember is I just remember Evie's look and I remember the lip sync between her and Brooke mid-season, and the fight. But I mean, I don't remember anything else really about her. Like if I had to go through and list everybody one in a row, when I get to the end, like they all start to kind of blur together as far as once you get past Bob. Like I like who won season 9, who won 10, who won 11. So, but I mean, you also figure it's funny to think when you think about All Stars 1 and when there's the epic fight and Raven says to Mimi in that, she goes, out of 50 girls, Mimi, I'm first. Mimi, I'm first came in number third.
Mimi, I'm first. That's really my name.
Mimi, I'm first. Mimi, I'm first. Came in number third.
You mean, are you talking
We're up
about...
to like 100. We're up to like 100.
You, Mimi, I'm first. Mimi, I'm first was number 3rd in the voting. I could not believe it.
We're up to like 150 girls now.
Yeah.
There's 150 of them. And it gets harder to remember everybody. And you're also talking about, you figure on average, there's at least 10 episodes a season, not including All Stars, not including extra things that they've done. It gets harder and harder to remember things. There's less and less space in the brain for you to store all of these memories compared to other things that you've seen the episodes a million times, or you've seen the video clips, or you've seen on Tumblr, or you've seen where you've watched them a million times. It's going to be harder and harder for girls to stand out.
Yeah, but the point that ultimately, to come back around, the point I was making is it is the strongest group of girls, and I bet you, because they all seem like very nice people, they were just an absolute joy to work with. And so I think that's what RuPaul's really talking about. They weren't difficult. They weren't the vixen. No one had to chase after them. They were probably, for the most part, very low maintenance, which makes showing up to work wonderful. You don't get that pit in your stomach like, oh, what's going to happen today? What drama is going to happen today? It made it wonderful, but I don't know. And they're very strong girls, very talented girls. I'm sure if you went to go pay to go see them, and you should, they give you a great show. But I don't know that they necessarily make great television.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say. All right, Taylor, why don't we actually use that opportunity to take a break? So we will be back right after. And when we come back, we're going to get right into the show. And we're going to just talk about it. Break it down, Taylor, right after this.
This is Amy Poehler. My new movie, Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2, is coming to theaters June 14th, and it's making me feel joy and sadness and anger, definitely some disgust, Rose, and I think a little fear. But I'm also feeling these new emotions like anxiety, embarrassment, envy, and ennui.
It's what you call the boredom.
Okay, that one was weird. It's going to be the feel everything movie of the summer. Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Only in theaters June 14th. Get tickets now.
All right, Taylor, let's get right into the show. After Heidi's elimination, the queen said goodbye to Heidi. Jackie respects Heidi for working with limited resources, but is worried because she hasn't won a maxi challenge. And then suddenly the workroom loses power, and the girls move over to the Untucked Lounge. The next day, the girls walk back into the workroom, and Jada erases Heidi's mirror message. Next, RuPaul enters the workroom to introduce this week's mini challenge.
So for today's mini challenge, you need to design an over-the-top, one-of-a-kind showgirl headdress that screams Viva Drag Vegas.
Somehow, Gigi Good wins the mini challenge, and then RuPaul announces this week's maxi challenge.
Now, ladies, for this week's Maxi Challenge, you'll be performing a medley of original songs from the critically acclaimed RuPaul's Drag Race Live. The medley includes a big opening number, a heartfelt first act closer, and the spectacular disco finale. First, you'll record your vocals with RuPaul's Drag Race Live composer, Leland, and then your own original rap verse. Then you'll be working with RuPaul's Drag Race Live director, Jamal Sims.
All right, Taylor, let's break it down here. Did you have any big thoughts about the first act, about the mini challenge and the maxi challenge introduction? What were your thoughts here?
I have two thoughts. One, I thought it was some sort of bit when the power went out.
So did I. I have it in my notes. I'm like, oh, here it comes. This is where we're going to bring in the Las Vegas girls.
Yeah, there was something that I thought that was a very odd. I'm surprised that they didn't just wait, and just kind of film it. But it also made for maybe a little bit of drama, and they realized that they got some really good stuff out of Untucked. Because I could see where they would just come in and have them wipe it down again, but you can see within the first act, it's going to be Crystal and Jackie in the bottom two.
Yeah,
I mean, just because they're giving them so much interview time and so much talking about the numbers game, and they're definitely leading you down the path of this is what you can expect in the last couple minutes of the show. As far as them all coming in, I found it odd that when they came in the next morning, it was a different angle than we normally see them in, where it was like a moving camera walking. Like Jada is the first one to walk in, and it sort of is almost like where it's somebody standing with a steady cam walking in, as compared to where it's usually just that basic shot of the doorway and them all come walking in. So I'm almost wondering if there was some sort of issue with there was still some sort of issue with the power, or maybe there was a short with the camera or something like that. So they did that. It just felt like the angles were very different. But that's as far as that goes. Another thing, this is another example of this cursed season where they're talking about the main challenge, and Ru is pretty much promoting this Drag Race Live, a show that she wants people to go see. But the fucking city of Las Vegas is closed right now. Yeah. And nobody can get out there and see this show.
Well, what's funny
it sucks.
What's funny is I heard it wasn't doing very well. So that they can just close it and blame and save RuPaul's ego. And be like, well, coronavirus closed it. 'Cause I heard there were just tons of empty seats and whatnot.
Oh.
Yeah. When you go to have you ever been to Vegas?
Yeah, you and I met in Vegas.
You ever heard of Las Vegas, Taylor?
I think I've heard of it a time or two before.
But then you know this. There are a ton of just shitty shows that they'll give out for free because they just want people to fill the seats and maybe buy a drink or two and gamble. I bet you that was becoming one of those shows where it's like, you want free tickets to this RuPaul's Drag Race show? They're probably going to all the gay bars and doing that. One of the things, Babalu will be very pleased to hear this. I think you and I have said the most about this episode before the commercial. There's really not a lot to say. That's why I lump so much together here in this first discussion point. I agree with you. I thought it was a bit. Going to the mini challenge, I don't know if you have anything to say about the mini challenge.
I liked it.
I hated this mini challenge. I thought it was horrible.
Okay.
That was so stupid, right?
Okay, but when you compare this one to the kitty litter one...
Oh, better than the kitty litter. Okay, I'll give you that.
It definitely was better than kitty litter.
All right.
This one, she wasn't, it didn't feel like she was making fun of the girls.
True.
They were kind of making fun of showgirls, but it was...
I think what it is, I was like, Gigi won the mini challenge? I was
no, she shouldn't have.
She shouldn't have won. But again, it's that they're pushing that narrative that they want Gigi Good to be the winner, so why not have her go out on top? There is a part of me, too, that
who do you think should have won?
I think you could make a case for Crystal or Jackie.
Yeah. That would be my top two, I would think.
It was kind of funny that Jackie was doing that or whatever, Yes. And then Crystal's little bio she wrote was pretty funny. Why is no one talking about this new pit crew guy? What were your thoughts on the new pit crew guy?
Oh, I was like, who the hell is that?
Yeah.
Come on, man bun.
Yeah. I was like, did they just find a guy walking off the street? Oh, do you like them?
He was kind of cute. All of the dancers were cute.
Oh, are you okay. Let's talk about the dancers now because there's nothing else to talk about.
We're just gonna skip right to
well, we'll come back, but I'm not gonna go let's save it because we have so much good stuff to get to.
Right.
You're right. All the dancers are cute, and I have no idea why there's this real basic Val Kilmer wannabe blonde guy that
I know exactly the one you're talking about, and I'm like, that's the one Joe's gonna like.
Which is funny because that's not usually my type, and he's so basic.
With the frosted hair.
With the shitty frosted hair, but there's just something about it. I could not take my eyes off of him. I'm not even sure that I was necessarily super into him. I couldn't take my eyes off him to the point where I wasn't even paying attention to the girls. I had to go like, hold on. I have to pay attention to the girls. I could not take my eyes off of him. Mm-hmm. It's so weird. Anyway, were there any favorite dancers of yours?
There was one that at one point he had like a large like black band around his arm, black tattoo band that I remember thinking, oh, he's really cute. And then there was one with a beard. But there's always one with a beard that I'm always like, well, hello.
Hello, beard. Yeah.
Hello, beard.
All right. In the workroom, the queens write their rap verses for the original song, Losing is the New Winning. Jada struggles to write her rap. Gigi wants to show the judges a more vulnerable side. Crystal doesn't know what she's going to write, and the other queens try to help. During the song recording, Leland and Freddie Scott joined the queens on stage for the recording. Leland tells Gigi she needs to bring up the energy. Jackie's praise for her lyrics and flow. Gigi thinks Crystal sounds like a stoned Kermit the Frog, and Jada realizes she's bombing. During the choreography with Jamal Sims, the queens rehearse choreography. I just said that twice. Jackie gives dad vibes. Crystal recites self-affirmations as she struggles with the choreo, and Jamal makes a positive example of how Jada picks up on her choreography. A lot to discuss there, Taylor, but any big thoughts on everything I just talked about?
Lots of thoughts. What were your thoughts on this Leland?
In terms of
using the Todrick Jamal scale. Where does he fall?
She's closer to a Jamal, but the problem is, and I'm sure she's very talented and very good at what she does. In fact, I think the fact that she's so fucking boring shows you that. But like, I completely forgettable. I will not remember this person exists in 2 weeks.
Right. Okay. Yeah, no, that was sort of where it felt like there were times that she was trying to Todrick them a little bit, as far as you need to get your energy up and that sort of stuff, but it wasn't threatening. Yeah. It seemed like she wanted something from them, but she didn't do the, well, girl, I don't know what you're going to do. But all right, so I'm going to do something that I very rarely do here, and I'm going to do my best Joe Betance. Are you ready?
At least somebody is.
So when they were learning to dance, this Jackie Cox in those short shorts were from really far away. You could see her hairy legs. It was so fucking hot. Oh my God, Joe.
Really? Was it?
Thank you. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I love a hairy leg. And the fact that from far away on an HDTV, you could see Jackie Cox's hairy legs. I was very just like, yes, I'm enjoying this.
I think I see what you're talking about. She was wearing those tiny little shorts. She didn't quite have the package that she was packing last week, but I think everything was nullified by the embarrassing dad at a wedding moves.
Oh no! See, I thought that was even cuter to me.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think Jackie Cox is definitely my crush of the season.
Really?
Is definitely for even as thin, because that's I like him thick. But something about Jackie has, with just that awkward nerdy. She said something, gotta take nerd or something last night that I thought was really cute. But it's just something about her. I just Jackie is the one this season that if I had an opportunity to make out with one of the girls, I would want to make out with Jackie.
I thought it was Rock'em Sakura.
I don't know.
What was that?
I don't know, but Jackie.
Okay, if I was like, behind door number 1 is Rock'em Sakura, and behind door number 2 is Jackie Cox, and behind door number 3 is Babalu staring you down for even trying to choose between doors number 1 and 2.
I think he'd be okay with me making out with Jackie.
Okay.
Just making out, right? Not sex.
Yeah, just whatever you want to do. You just shake their hand.
I would just want to make out with Jackie. I think that would be fun. I have a feeling that Jackie would be Jackie would be a firm but gentle lover.
Okay. Any other thoughts on this whole segment of the song? What did you think of Leland and Freddie? Was that their names? Yeah, Leland and Freddie.
Exactly what you said. They were boring. They were sort of okay. I mean, but that also shows that because for as much as the most tension that you saw really was with Jada, and that where Leland says at one point, if you don't get this figured out, you're going to go down to a screwed up track. And then clearly the drama is where, I mean, she killed it on her rap on the for the show. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't quite the disaster that they were expecting to be. It's not BB trying to kick her legs up in the Kitty Girl video. Yeah. It wasn't quite that bad. But even that, there wasn't a level of venom that we have heard with, like, you know, using Todrick. Todrick is the litmus test for this.
Hate Todrick so much. All right.
I got you. I've got you completely off the rails.
I hate Todrick so much.
Okay, I'm going to say this. Todrick Hall eating hamburger Marys.
with Dustin Lance Black.
With Dustin Lance Black.
Yeah. I would blow the place up. And they're watching the owners of Hamburger Mary's do their drag show while they're eating these hamburgers. That would be like, I would dress in a black and white striped shirt and have I would look at the Hamburglar, right? I would look at the Hamburglar.
I was going to add a big wide brim hat.
Yeah, a big wide brim hat, and then I'd roll in one of those old timey bombs with the string.
But put it between two hamburger buns and rest it on their...
And then everybody would say, why is Grimace dressed like the Hamburglar? And I'd be like, calm down.
You would come and say, everybody go, hello, everybody. My name's Allison Mossy, and I'm your waitress.
Yeah, I'm Allison Mossy. I'm your waitress.
Enjoy this complimentary hamburger.
Yeah, and then it's a burger, but in between it is a comical, like, round bomb with the string coming out.
With the fuse that's...
Yeah. And then I have a sign that says, try me. You know, and then compliments of the house, right? And I just walk out.
It's a real blast.
Yeah. And then it blows up, and then you see them turn around, and their faces, you know, are black, and their hair is like standing up, and there's smoke.
And then they all just slowly turn to ash, but their eyes still stay.
Yeah, and then Todrick just spits out one tooth. You know. Anyway, okay. It's elimination day, and the queens are toasting their last day in the workroom. Jada asked the other queens their first impressions of their competitors. Gigi saw Jackie as another fashion girl. Jackie was confused by Gigi's pirate entrance look. Jada's taken aback when Jackie says she was first impressed with her makeup skills during the improv challenge. We have to write shorter sentences. The girls tell Crystal she changed the most. The girls change the most. Sherry asks if report cards will come into play. And Jackie says if that's the case, she and Crystal are in the bottom two. Your thoughts on this elimination day? On the first response, I'll tell you this, Taylor. A lot of people were saying that they really liked this elimination day segment. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Did you like it too?
No, it was... But this goes to, we have a group of girls that really seem to like each other.
Yeah.
And it felt like you were watching a bunch of girlfriends all, you know, sit around and talk. And there wasn't necessarily any, there wasn't any drama. There wasn't any like things left that needed to be said. It was just, everybody seems to have a genuine respect for one another and respect for each other's crafts. And that is nice to see. It's a little boring, but it is nice to see.
Yeah, they all seem to get along. There really wasn't much to this elimination day. This is, by the way, we've seen this elimination day before. This is not a new thing where they all of a sudden go like, "What was it like when we first walked in?" You know, it's we've seen this before. So to me, this is something we've seen a million times, and so I thought it was fine. But
I mean, it's comfort food at this point.
Yeah, this is just...
It's just sort of... We're getting to say goodbye to these girls in the format of which we have been watching them for the last 12 weeks, which I can't believe this has been 12 weeks.
It has flown by.
This season has flown by.
Yeah.
So that's that, and that is a definite plus of this.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to the Maxi Challenge. Taylor, Latte Boy... Your thoughts on the opening first number was called Baby I Made It. Do you have any thoughts on the specific opening number?
It is that cheesy. If you have ever seen a show in Vegas, it is so quintessential, that kind of late 70s, early 80s, at the end you're supposed to do like that pump kind of thing. I like the fact that they all were wearing their outfits from when they first came in. I thought that was a cute. I thought that was a cute thing, and it was harmless. Yeah. Harmless is the best way to describe it. I don't know that it was necessarily, that it wasn't anything dramatic or scary about it. There wasn't any. My God, why can't I talk all of a sudden?
I don't know. I think you're still stuck on me bombing Hamburger Mary's when Todrick is there with Dustin Lance Black.
No, there wasn't any blank to it. Not threats. There wasn't any. What is the word?
I don't know. Well, maybe because I think I know what you're trying to say. So what I'm going to say will help you here. Actually, right. What I like you. I liked, and I'm going to talk about all the songs here, because what I'm going to say right now to help you, I was going to say for the second number, I Hate the Mirror, Love the Mirror, is the Leland and Freddie are talented songwriters. The songs they captured that cheesy Vegas feel. They were catchy. They were melodic. The problem were the lyrics. The lyrics were so banal, and they lacked any kind of bite to them. Which, say what you will about Lucian, you could remember some of the lyrics. They had a sharpness to them, an edge.
Yes.
And there was no edge to these songs. It was almost like, I just saw this thing on Reddit. It was very funny. And I guess people do this all the time, because it seemed like this was a series that this guy does, where he takes all of AC/DC's lyrics and puts them into like a bot. And the bot writes a song with all the lyrics. And then I guess he gets a sound-alike to sing them. And it was funny because it was just taking AC/DC's lyrics into just a prototype AC/DC song. And that's what these lyrics sounded like. It was like, put all the lyrics of all the songs you could have about drag queens into a computer and spit out lyrics. And that's what it is.
Or any song about reaching your goal.
Yes.
Yes. Very much of the, it's kind of that, I'm trying to think of a song now, like, very go the distance kind of thing. But, but with that, like late 70s, early 80s, like sitcom theme music, sort of, it was that's sort of what it was, like lots of big horns and a whole like band kind of thing.
But what's so funny is I just thought about this right now, Taylor the Latte Boy, is what I just said could also be a criticism or a comment you could make about the entire season and cast. Is they feel like you took in all the elements of Drag Race seasons past, put them into a computer, and the bot spit out what that cast would look like, what the challenges would look like, what the songs would be like, what the outcomes would be. And it just all felt made by committee and by a computer, and they do the job and they hit the right notes, but is it ultimately memorable and nutritious? I don't know. I don't know if it fed the soul the way other seasons have.
I feel like you and I, when a new season starts, it's exciting because we have our ideas on Meet the Queens, but until the episodes start actually airing and you start seeing how these girls interact, we really have, up till this point, really had no idea who was going to win each season. Whereas this one, it feels like that is with each passing season, you can start to map out, okay, this one's going to be the next one to go. This one's going to be this one is in the first third of girls to go, the second third, and then you're going to have your top four.
Yeah.
And this one, I feel for the most part, really it was a lot easier up until I would say this final lip sync for me to really kind of map out who was going home in what order.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's going to be more and more of that, I think, with each season. You know, I think that we are, and it feels like we are watching fans who consume this start to figure out the equation. You know, you and I have figured it out, I think, and there are other people. I don't want to make it sound like we cracked the code, but it feels like we're all starting to, like, you know, you have the super fans, you have listeners of our shows and stuff like that. But it feels like when you're seeing things on social media and stuff, that people are starting to get it. And that people are starting to do that whole, like, you know, oh, well, we don't have to be invested in her because she'll be gone by week 3, or, you know, this one has got to be a top 4, or, you know, that sort of thing. So unless they really kind of mess with the format, we're all going to be able to figure that out with each season. And it's going to be more and more where you're almost going to know almost immediately who the winner is. I mean, I don't think anybody suspected Evie to win last season.
True.
You know, but then as you got to know her a little bit, then it got to be like, oh, they're going to keep her around for a while because she makes for good television.
Well, I think, but to go with what you said, though, I think maybe it goes in cycles, because I think we all saw Bob winning episode 1 when she walked in the workroom.
Right.
And I think same thing with Gigi. We were like, oh, well, she's exactly what they want. You know, she's the whole package. One more thing I want to say, and I said this earlier, but I don't think I said it on the air. I don't know where I said it. I love that this Jackie Cox in her disco finale rap, the losing is the new winning. I think because it rhymes with Cox, she said, don't put me in a box. All this bitch does is talk about being Persian this, Persian that. And so we put her in a Persian box. She put herself in the fucking goddamn box. Meanwhile, this Crystal, Latinx, would never know it. Doesn't talk about it. I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. You know, Valentina, I think it's great that she talked about her Latinx background.
But part of that could be that, you know, we've had Latinx queens on the show before. This is the first Persian girl that we've had. So she feels like this is something that makes her stand out. You know, they talked about when they were kind of deliberating that she's somebody who wears her culture. She wears her life experience, you know, through her drag. I mean, the hijab that she wore and everything, and that makes her stand out. So she's going to continue saying things and talking about that as a way to,
and that's fine,
show that she's a little bit different.
There's nothing wrong with boxes. Okay. But then don't say, don't put me in a box. We're like, no one's putting you in a box. You put yourself in the box. Like Valentina, again, is a perfect example. She put herself in the Latinx box, and that's fine.
About being Persian, I think it was just that she was looking for something that rhymes with Cox. Box is the easiest one. What else is she going? If she says her name, what's another word that rhymes with Cox?
If she loved Jews, she would say bagels and lox. Or she would want to, you know, she'd want to get down with some jocks.
Or maybe her spirit animal is a fox.
Or you know what? Maybe she's good at stocks.
She's got a lot of energy. She's full of moxie. She has a voice. She wants to use her Vox. Or she likes to read the news, and her favorite site is Vox. She has her own social media empire. She does lots of TikToks. Don't leave me hanging like this. Come on.
Now it's time for the looks. All right, Taylor, we're going to do the look. Now, look, you know what? Actually, this might be easier for you because because there's so few girls and they're only doing one look, they get a lot of time per look, you know?
Okay.
So it might be one of these things where you can say everything you want to say. We'll see. We'll find out. But you might be able to see everything you want to say because they get so much time per look. But are you ready?
Yeah.
And I'm going to do the same thing where as soon as a new person comes out, I'm going to shout their name. So the first person coming in on the runway is Crystal Method.
Crystal Method is wearing every single fashion idea that you could possibly wear in one outfit. She's wearing a blue velvet pantsuit or bodysuit that has rouging, and she's wearing a turban, a flower, blue face paint, white. She looks amazing. I love the entire look. This speaks to who Crystal is as a performer, and while it is hideous, it is beautifully hideous, and it is... I really, really love this. So this is a great, great look from Crystal. She looks like a weird Smurf.
Toot or boot?
That's a toot.
Gigi Good.
Gigi Good came out in a powder blue dress that looked like a prom outfit from the top. She had on a head brace and very 80s Joan Cusack in 16 Candles hair. I thought this was a great look as well because it speaks to the comedy of Gigi, that she doesn't take herself too seriously, but it was still very glamorous. I love the combination of the light pink and light blue and the way that she accented everything really well, juxtaposed with the red hair. Everything about it was just absolutely great. And this is also a toot for me as well.
You see, I told you, you're gonna have a lot of time between each scene because
and she played a character of sorts while she was doing it, where she was kind of very awkward and nerdy, but she still looked beautiful. So definitely,
Jackie Cox.
I loved this look so much. She came out in a very 50s inspired outfit that was red with yellow spots, with lots and lots of just lots of flair, with a bright blue wig, blue gloves, and blue shoes. I love the color combination of this. The bottom of the skirt was definitely a little messy, but I thought Jackie looked absolutely beautiful. Blue lipstick as well. And it speaks to who Jackie is as far as where she's definitely likes to do time periods. And this was a very glamorous look for her. I just wish the bottom was a little bit more even, but absolutely a toot look for me.
You know, what's so funny is, we're getting low on time here, right? And are you worried about your husband, Bobby Lou, getting upset with you or anything like that? Or like, cause last time, last time he wanted to vacuum. Is that him getting ready to vacuum?
Yes, he's vacuuming right now as we speak. That's exactly what's happening. He's vacuuming in the other room.
Yeah, Taylor.
At some point, he will knock on the door and go, housekeeping.
Yeah, because he wanted a vacuum. Babalu, turn it off. All right. Jada Essence Hall.
Jada Essence Hall came out in an outfit that they referenced Coming to America, the dress that his betrothed, Eddie Murphy's betrothed, wore in Coming to America. A very beautiful gold gown that Carson said looked like it was inspired by one of the outfits that would have been worn on Dynasty in the 80s. She looked beautiful. This was probably my least favorite look of all of the looks, not because it wasn't beautiful, but it was just sort of you could have seen this anywhere. This felt very pageant-y to me, whereas I felt the others sort of told a story. But she did look beautiful, and I give it a toot. It just was my least favorite of all of the looks.
All right, very good. And you know what, Taylor? I have big news for you.
What?
Those are the looks.
Those are the looks. Thank you.
Those are the looks, yeah. Okay, let me have a million elements now. I need to stop and do all... Okay, there we go. All right, Taylor. After the critiques and deliberations, Gigi Good wins her fourth maxi challenge of the season. Jada and Sherry are named safe, leaving Jackie Cox and Crystal Method in the bottom two. The song that they lip sync to, On the Floor by Jennifer Lopez feat. Pitbull. After lip sync battle 4, they're live. Crystal is told, Shantae, you stay, while Jackie is asked to sashay away. Taylor the Latte Boy, any final thoughts on the episode?
I thought, for it being the final lip sync, I thought that both Jackie and Crystal did a great job. It really, you sort of knew it was probably going to go to Crystal just because of they kept talking about the numbers game. Mm-hmm. But it felt like usually you can they sort of focus on one girl more than the other in lip syncs, and that's the one who wins. Mm-hmm. And I felt like they were focusing, if it wasn't even, it felt like they were focusing even a little bit more on Jackie. But I thought Jackie it was a very joyous lip sync on her part. It wasn't crazy. There wasn't shablams. There wasn't where she was having fun with it, and that was fun to watch. Much like with Crystal, it was fun. I guess my only other thought was the fact that they ended this part of the series in shade. And actually, before I do that, I want to talk about something else that Springham in the chat room, and I believe it was Eve Adams brought up in the other chat room, the Mixler chat room, that not only did we not have a Tic Tac interview with all of the girls that were left, but we didn't have the and what would you say to little so-and-so if you had the opportunity? I completely forgot that and very much enjoyed that. But I'm almost wondering if she didn't do that because they're kind of boring. Like you weren't going to get the tears that you would get from some of the girls that put up those defenses. They realized that they weren't going to get or if they filmed it and just never showed it.
Because you'd have to show Sherry Pie. You'd have to show Sherry Pie talking to herself as a kid. Okay.
I didn't even think of that.
Maybe they didn't want that in, so they just cut the whole thing out.
So, well, speaking of Sherry Pie, they definitely ended the season with some shade because of where she's pretty much says, my top 4. So who are you? And then only says 3 teams. Yeah. And then the very last shot before they go to World of Wonder is one of the girls throwing the vote sign up in front of Sherry's face.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you go back and watch it, that is literally I noticed that.
How are you noticing that? How are you noticing that, but not noticing the broccoli that was standing right there?
Well, because I was half paying attention, but that was one thing that I definitely picked up on that and thought that was an editor saying one last fuck you at Sherry Pie. So I very much enjoyed that. I did remember that the broccoli was there eventually. I just it didn't stay in the.
What did some of the people during the first response, they were talking about how much they loved the lip sync or they thought Jackie won the lip sync. I didn't think so. I think I've seen this bit from Jackie. I'm not a big fan of the kooky lip sync when it's not, especially when it's not appropriate. And this song didn't seem like an appropriate song for a kooky lip sync.
Well, that seems to be her thing because she sort of did that even with her lip sync in the song.
Yeah.
With her rap in the song, she was kind of doing the crazy and also in the song in Vegas, that's the 3rd time we've seen that wig from her.
Yeah.
So that sort of was, I was like, I'm kind of tired of seeing that. I want to see a different look from Jackie. But I thought that she took up so much of the stage with that dress, especially when she was twirling and stuff, that I think that might have also been part of the reason why my eye was consistently going to her. But I thought Crystal did a great job. It was one of those that they both managed to do the lip sync for a song that is a high energy dance song without any death drops, without any crazy gymnastics, anything like that, which shows that you don't have to do that to have a good lip sync, especially to a dance song.
My one of the questions I was getting asked either on the show or by friends in private was what did I think was going to happen with the finale with Sherry Pie being disqualified? And I really did think they were going to put both girls forward.
I did at one point say out loud to Robert Alou, said, we're going to have a top 5. But,
I see what you're saying. Yeah. But, it looks like they kept it at top 3, which traditionally before season 9 is what they had was a top 3. And also, it makes sense now because we were thinking top 4 in terms of if they were gonna do a lip sync for the crown kind of thing. What I've read, what they're doing, and there seemed to be some sort of, from what I understood from what I read, is that the girls, I don't think they're lip syncing live. I don't think they're lip syncing live on Zoom. The impression I got is I think American Idol has been doing something similar. Is that they've sent the girls a package so that they could film their own lip sync, and basically you'll be judged on how creative you make it. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then they'll air those videos of that lip sync. So in that case, you don't need a top 4.
Yeah,
top 3 is fine. I'm still surprised. I thought they would have just like the sake of fairness,
tradition.
Yeah, or not tradition, but more just like, well, I don't know. But then maybe I guess it goes into like, well, then what's fair for every other contestant, So, all right. Any other final thoughts on this episode, Taylor the Latte Boy?
No, it was comfort food, which is what I needed this week. So it was a fine episode. Untucked was more of the just them all sitting around and pretty much jerking each other off. So it was enjoyable. I am ready to go back to. I mean, you figure next week will be maybe 2 hours. The reunion.
Oh, you think
this whole 3.5 hours of by 11:30? I am exhausted.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And I think Drag Race and then Untucked afterwards.
I think the reunion is only the regular 90 minutes. I don't think they do it Untucked, and that's it. Yeah.
No, I know they won't do it Untucked, but I'm almost. You had a theory about. You had a theory about why they were showing Celebrity Drag Race.
Oh yeah,
between. And then showing Untucked at the end.
Yeah.
And you had said that you wanted to, I believe it was something, and if I misquote you, I apologize.
Fake news.
Fake news. That you thought that it was a way to distance from Sherry Pie. That Sherry Pie was going to be getting more of the edit in Untucked because there were less and less girls. And it was a way to kind of distance that. I think that they looked at these 4 episodes of Celebrity Drag Race and felt that the only way we were going to watch it is if we knew Untucked was on afterwards. Because I think especially after the first, I think especially because you had also said, and I'm not getting into Celebrity Drag Race spoilers or anything, but you had said that episode 2 that we saw was actually episode 4.
Yes.
And
according to the rumors.
Had they shown last night's episode as episode 2, I wouldn't have watched 3 and 4 if Untucked came on afterwards. Last night's Celebrity Drag Race was the first one that I really did, that I sat and played on my phone the whole time. Or I talked to
It's that bad?
Other people. It's not good at all. There's only one moment of it that I thought that I really kind of stopped and paid attention to, and it wasn't one of the contestants. It was a moment with Vanjie, where Vanjie gets upset at one point, and it was sad to watch, but I also was kind of in the middle of stuff. But it's not a good episode.
Mm-hmm. So. As you know, Taylor, I have a lot of thoughts about Celebrity Drag Race. Oh, God. Your husband loves the vacuum.
I know, he does. He really loves the vacuum.
Anyway. He stopped. Maybe he heard me. All right, well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. This episode was produced by Luke Saman. Be sure to join us next week and every week as we continue to discuss, dissect, and deconstruct each brand new episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12. So, for Taylor Latte Boy and myself,
sashay away until next week.
Thank you for listening to RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. Have something to say? Email us at dragracerecap@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Drag Race Recap. If you want access to more Season 12 content, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. You can follow Taylor the Latte Boy on Twitter and Instagram at PIMCTaylor. Follow Joe Betance on Twitter and Instagram at Joe Betance. That's JoeBetance. The theme song was written by Lucian Piani and arranged and performed by Alex Lefebvre. This episode was produced by Luke Stamen. Drag Race Recap is an Afterthought Media podcast.